So guys, tell me, one is that have you all gone back on the sets? What is it like to shoot? Mouni, you can start.
Well, first of all, it was very weird for me to actually reach the set and see everybody in masks and face shields and gloves. So for about 5-6 days, I couldn't recognize anybody. A funny incident happened that the first time our DOPs took the masks off, I was like, "Are you Ewan and are you Barney?" So it was like that. But jokes apart, it was quite nice to see everybody following protocols. Our hair and makeup artist Simone, she was not only disinfecting the chairs and brushes, she was disinfecting all of us also every now and then. So yeah,
Interesting, yeah.
so I guess we all have to get used to the new world and its new ways. So
Yeah,
yeah.
but you know,
But most importantly, it was amazing to be back on a set, and I'm really, really grateful that even during these trying times, I got to do a work and good work at that. So
wow, that's amazing. Were you scared on the first date when you went there? Were you like a bit hesitant? Oh God,
I
what
wasn't,
will
I
be?
wasn't really scared, but I was, I guess, a little bit of anxiety was there. I was a bit
Yeah,
restless,
that's the
but
right word.
I think I was just very excited to be back to work.
Right,
So that was the most overpowering feeling.
right. Purab, you tell us what is it like? We chatted when you were in London. You had some symptoms, and then tell me from there to going on a set. What was that like? Were you like a little bit nervous sometimes? Like on the first day, what was that like?
Well, if you noticed while Moni was answering some of those questions, I stepped away outside and I came back on and I was just saying bye to some people. This is an entire medical unit that's come to test me for this production I'm doing right now.
Wow.
So I think it's become a norm now. And even with
Yes.
London Confidential, while we were in London, there were weekly tests happening, Monday to Monday to try and keep everybody who's in that close proximity in a set while working, to make sure that that core team, and especially actors, because actors cannot work without the mask, with the mask, so we have to keep on taking off the mask. So,
Mhm.
and of course, if an actor gets unwell, that pretty much stops your production. Everybody else who's behind the camera at some level can be, substituted for a day or a few hours. But an actor, if he's missing and he's not well, then it's a very critical thing. So I think all of it is trying to work from the outside and coming to try and keep this core team that functions in the middle all safe and well through an entire production. And that's a task many producers are having to deal with now.
Right.
And I missed Moni's answer, so please excuse me if I repeat myself. But I think weekly tests.
Mhm.
Then once you're on the set, there's a sort of a scan and a quick test that happens then also.
Right.
Uh, Measures taken of how many people are working in close proximity at different points on the set. So I have not started shooting here in Berlin yet. I start tomorrow. But back in London Confidential, it was more time consuming because only lighting could go in at one point, only art could go in at one point. When we are rehearsing, everybody else steps out. So it is complicated. It's also necessary. So I think it's the new norms of working have been sort of unleashed in
Right.
2020, and we are following it. Let's see how long we have to do this stuff.
Right. But hats off to you guys.
And
Yeah,
before I'd like to add,
yes.
initially when I went from Dubai to London, my swab test and laser test, somebody else did it, right? But
Mm.
there on the set, you're given this it comes. I mean, a production person would get it, and you're literally doing the swab test, the nose test by
By
yourself.
yourself. Oh my
So
God.
that was quite a thing, and I'm like, oh, I can be a nurse or a doctor.
There's a
So
funny
yeah, we
video
were all.
actually, Rohit, there's a funny video. There's a funny video that's come out of this woman who's getting the test done and they put it into her nose. I've done one of those tests before coming here.
Me too, we got
Right.
done
Oh
too.
my God, it's such a pain, yeah. And the
I
woman
know.
is
Even I've
napping
done it. Yeah.
the essentials of the man next to her. I don't know if you've seen that video. It's quite
No, no, I'll
funny.
look it up. But it is crazy. Yeah.
But
I
you
have to
can
do
see her
one again now,
expression.
day
That's
after
how it
tomorrow,
is. That's
because
how it is with test done. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, in your nose.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
you get.
Guys, let's come to London Confidential. The viewers who are watching, firstly, you want to tell them when was this made? Was this made during the lockdown? When did you all shoot this?
Last month, July, August.
July, August.
So July,
Right.
August. So yeah, it
That's
happened very quickly. We finished it in a month,
Mm-hmm.
and Purab will say it better.
Sure, sure. Purab, when did this start? When did this end? You want to tell the viewers because it's quite, and did you ever think that in a pandemic, in the lockdown, you all will be able to finish something like this?
I
Not
think
really.
hats off to Z5, and
Yeah.
of course the perseverance to finish this according to their calendar. Because I think it was a shoot that was planned possibly before the pandemic was declared and before the world shut down in 2020. So hats off to these guys for living up to the calendar. If you notice, even the release is quite quickly. Such a short turnaround on shooting is hard to do. So it's quite commendable to the entire team, even the production team or the line producer and the producers, all of them, Jahar Films, the line producer in the UK, the director, Kanwal, who I think is exceptional and came in and finished this off so quickly. And then,
Right.
of course, the great talent that we have, Moni and myself.
Ah, speak for
We work
yourself.
so
Speak
fast.
for yourself. I am the one
Come on,
who
Moni, we must take some
got
credit
to
ourselves
learn and receive a
also.
lot
थोड़ा थोड़ा
from
हम
Kanwal
हमको भी
Sethi
बनना है
too.
कि हमने
So
इतनी तेजी से काम किया
हाँ हमने बड़ी तेजी से काम किया है.
Right,
So
but
I
Moni, did you ever think that so you will when the lockdown started, did you ever think that in the middle of this you will be able to finish
Not
something?
at all. I had completely gone back to my puja part, my childhood puja part, chanting, meditation, reading, like holy books and
Right,
spiritual books. That was
right.
painting. That was what I was doing. Cooking, etc. And I really thought that eventually when things open up, then I'd just go back to Bombay, wait for things to start.
Mm,
Things that I had signed, and I still don't know few of them when it's happening or whether they're happening or not.
right.
But this was definitely a blessing. I was here for about 4 months, and honestly, you suddenly realize that everything genuinely happens for a reason. So if
Right,
I wasn't in Dubai and I didn't have my visa, I wouldn't be able to travel to London.
right.
And this visa is from last year, and I was planning to travel, and I didn't travel. So
Hmm.
now it all kind of makes
then
sense
she was
that
locked down in London for 2 weeks before we started shooting.
Wow.
yeah.
It's amazing how things
Hello.
fall into place. And that's why I planned this backdrop just for the two of you because you guys just travel and I'm just sitting here with this. Guys, let's come to the story. This is obviously created by Hussain Zaidi, who's such a great storyteller. We've all read his books, we've all seen the work that's made it to the screens. Purab, you want to give people an idea what genre this is?
Well, spy thriller,
Right,
to put it simply,
right.
as you mentioned, this is his space, uh,
Absolutely.
Mr. Hussain Zaidi's space. If you see any of his books and stuff, crime,
Right.
underworld,
Yeah.
uh, spy kind of setups. So
Mhm.
it's ideal that he sort of is in some way the creative face for this also.
Right.
Yeah, so I think genre would be spy thriller, Rohit.
Right. Right. And Moni, if you could tell us where does your character come in? What is your character?
Well,
Mystery, actually, I'll take
sorry.
that as
I'm
spy
no,
thrillers.
I'm playing a role of a raw officer who it's almost like for her it's a race against time, and she's trying to find a mole within the system, and there's this these killings that are happening. So yeah, to and they're trying to control a vital information about this infection or virus you can call it. So yeah, it's
Mhm.
like that.
So it's also
So it's
set in this time which people will relate to, or just post the
most
pandemic,
definitely,
post
most
that.
definitely,
So,
yeah.
Purab, what is your character? Where does your character come in?
Well, he's. I mean, the it's set in sort of a typical spy mystery setting
Right.
where you have a very loyal force
Okay.
working to gather some information. That is
Right.
the backdrop, but in the forefront is them also trying to safeguard that information, which
Okay.
is sort of being disrupted by by the breakage of a contact that one of them has with a mole who's supposed to give them that information. That's what the crux of the film is about. So it's all set around safeguarding that information coming to the right hands to us,
Right.
And
This seems to be
I
like a
always get very
sure.
confused because in a spy thriller, I don't really know what information to give out and what not
Correct.
to.
So I'll
So
not,
I am
yeah, I won't ask you much about it, but
yeah.
I'll talk to you about the genre also. Now it's so difficult to watch something that's not pandemic related. So you all have actually got the perfect one where people will relate to this immediately. When you watch something that doesn't, where people are not wearing a mask, where people are not talking about it right now, it seems so unreal, right? So this is something that people will relate to world over, you think?
Oh well, Rohit, let me just correct you
Sure,
as
sure.
before we move forward, because it's not really about the pandemic.
Right.
So
It's
let's not
post.
confuse that. Don't let an audience expect that you're
Right.
getting a film that's going to deal with the pandemic. So it's more a film that deals, as I say, with a mole in the system.
Right.
And at the backdrop, there's certain information that's coming in regarding a virus. I mean, we've
Right.
tried to keep it generic also,
Okay.
whether it's the current virus or the next virus.
Right. Right.
We don't
Good.
want to
Good. No, it's good. You
don't want
clarified
to
that. That was
don't want
important.
to dabble into political scenarios, but clear. I mean, this is a pure entertainer, which is set around really trying to find a mole in the system, which is why spy mystery is actually the best way to describe it.
Sure.
And
Spy
the
mystery.
information coming at the backdrop has got to do with the virus.
As of now, the audience has now moved from the OTT, to the OTT platform. How are you taking this shift? How are you enjoying? What is your take? Now that everything was on the big screen is now on OTT.
I'm sure that there'll definitely be more work on the OTT
Right.
platform. So a lot of us actors would get a lot of different opportunities to work in different kind of film genres and shows, I guess.
Right.
Also, I believe, there's a barometer of checking and finding out what show is really working and what is not, and what genre will work and what is not. I mean, the system kind of it shifts the place from theater to OTT, but a lot of the things are going to be similar. But I think we are yet to properly understand it because this is just started. We'd have to
Yeah.
wait
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
few months and see how it goes and what the audience what would the audience like, what are they accepting, what would they dislike, and how to kind of walk this route. So
Right.
let's
Or
give
if I'm
some
not
time.
wrong, this is your OTT debut. What is it
Yeah.
like? That Z5 goes to so many countries. So this show, once it drops, or this film, once it drops, you can tell all your friends across the world to watch it.
It's most definitely very, very exciting for me. Also,
Right.
like you said, the fact that it's spread across a lot of countries.
Right.
But for me, when I take up a project or a show or a movie, it's always more about the story and story and the setup. And I really thought this was something nice, quick, quirky. Also, what I didn't know was uh, the kind of people that I'm going to be working with, and I'm so happy I got to be a part of this project.
Right.
Purab, I mean, I was dying to. I'm dying to for you to ask me about working with him because he's just such a good human being.
Right.
I genuinely have learned so much, and most of all, what I've learned from him is Tehran. I'm a very restless person, and I am
Right.
just like constantly, going from one thing to another. Even when rehearsing lines, I used to be, anxious and constantly be like, "Let's do this, let's do that." What I have learned from him, he's just so much calm. He's just like one
Right.
sadhu that I have, yeah. And the way that we have
मैं
worked every
मैं
single
साधु रह
scene,
गया now.
every single scene out with him and Kanwal sir. It used to be written completely differently on paper, and by
Mhm.
the time we reached on set and worked it out, all of us
Mhm.
together, it used to become something else. So I just hope that translates on screen,
Right.
and I'm very, very happy that it's on Z and this is my
Sure. It's
OTT
lovely.
debut.
Purab, I think I've known you for some 20 years now. Where does this calmness
We
come
both are
from?
becoming Babajis together with you and me. If you've been around in the film industry for 20 years, you become a baba only.
No, no, it has nothing to do with the film
Yeah, Mouni
industry.
is also, yeah, that's true. Mouni, please.
I think at the core, the kind of human being you are, just
Your
kind, nice
nature.
to everybody, always smiling, never really talking about a problem, always finding a solution. So he's all of that. So it's
Would have
lovely.
always been like that, or you see a change in yourself also.
Well, definitely in terms of calmness, there's a change. There is a change because I mean, at one point, I do remember myself finding myself as a very angry person. And I used to always think like I'm so angry with everyone and everything. But I guess, I mean, as I say, time just sort of makes you believe that there are moments in time for everything. So you just have to sort of wait patiently for it and keep working your best. And one thing I'm very clear with is that uh, I come in onto a project, and you have to set something that you really want, and make that happen all the time. So if you want something to happen well and making the
Mhm.
project better and everything, you have to better. Sometimes you have to put yourself also as second towards attaining that with anything you're working on. So I guess these are things I've learned in
Wow,
2 decades of acting.
amazing. Great. So on that happy note, guys, people have
You're
already
not
before
asking. You're
you.
not asking about Mouni. You're not asking about Mouni. She said nice
Yes,
things.
yes. Please. She said she's restless, but what do you think?
Well, I think like as you said, Rohit, that this is her first entry into
OTT and Z5.
you know, and Moni may have less experience than you and me in being in the business, but in terms of what she's attained at that time, I think is quite commendable. Though she disregards it when I tell her even about the following she has online, she sort of says she. No,
Don't say that. Don't say
no,
that. People
actually,
feel bad.
disregard is the wrong word. I think she doesn't let it get to her head, because she's
Right, right.
huge, huge following, as you and I both know. And they love her, her fans love her, and she loves her fan, but she
Yeah.
doesn't let it get to her head. She still believes like, she's the same girl that came from Kuch Bihar many years ago,
Mhm.
and is doing Jhalak Dikhla Ja. That's where I first met Moni, when we did Jhalak Dikhla Ja together.
Right.
Yeah.
And at
Moni,
that
there's
time,
no doubt you've really made a mark for yourself, and the kind of following he's talking about, we all are aware of that. So huge
and envious
respect.
of it also. Don't let's
Yeah,
just not be
envious
aware.
and a lot of respect for you for the kind of this is a lot of body of work also. So good luck, guys, both of you. Good luck to both of you, and more importantly, stay
So
safe
much.
and see you soon in Mumbai sometime
You
maybe.
too stay safe. Take care. I hope everybody at your home is also well and happy.
Yes.
And take care of yourself.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Take care, Rohit. Speak soon, buddy. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.